Don't you just love it when that happens? That's so nice. Hello, 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 and welcome to another one line of code. Watashi wa one line desu. The music just happened to be ending that song and fading out right as the thing was doing the thing. The timer was counting down to 0, so I didn't even have to fade it out myself. That was cool. Whoa, that was a finger. Somebody just prodded me. Don't prod me. Oh my gosh. Anyway, hi. Welcome. So Dukasoft with the early squad, aka just Dukasoft, who is not only a member of the early squad, he's also the captain. Anyway, he had a Halloween appropriate joke, dad joke. It says, "Why didn't the skeleton cross the road? Because he had no guts. Too scared." I think that's what it means. Anyway. Oh, yay. So, welcome back to another stream. We're continuing our efforts on, what is this? The financial management tracker. And we're actually not working on the fixing things or anything like that because it seems like we have all of our functionality completed. I think we finished up the last bits of it on Friday. So what we really want to do is continue with, or Monday, continue with what we were doing on Monday, which is getting rid of all of our warnings because I don't like to see the word no. Just because it seems like it would be a nice thing to have now that we have some time to do it. Just look through our remaining warnings and unused code, clean that up. For those of you interested in the project, here it is in the repo. We are back on, our main is currently the latest with all of our feature completedness. Once we're done with this shouldn't take too much longer for this cleanup step. Yeah, it shouldn't take much longer. We're gonna go to something that I am not comfortable doing because I'm not good at it. But we're going to try to do some actual, for real UI redesign to make this thing look like what it should look like. Yeah. I have no idea how we're gonna do it. I really want to get better at UI and UX design, and this is going to be a part of it. Dang. That's also going to be hard. Okay, anyway. Moving that out of my view. There it goes. There it goes. There it goes again. I got a thing in my Twitch box. Twitch inbox. Did you know you can now create stories on Twitch? Great. Fantastic. I'm good at those. I'm writing my own story. Okay. So this one was just mixing an XML comment, missing an XML comment for a public class. Pretty sure that's what it was angry at. Or no, a project containing analyzers or source generators should specify the property and force extended analyzer rules. True. Okay, I've never seen that before, but let's try it. So here we are in CS Proj. I'm going to put it up here with the target framework since this is all stuff to do with the way that the project is. Enforce, I already forgot. Enforce extended analyzer rules. True. Force extended analyzer rules true. All right, save that. Try a build. And it went away. Okay. Happy times. Happy, happy times. And of course, anyone that is here, I hope you're enjoying this wonderful playlist that we have. It's mostly made up of... Actually, why doesn't the artist show up for this song? Hello? But I was going to say it's mostly made up of Purple Cat from Slipstream. Purple Cat, I believe, is also on Spotify. But really, really, really good music, hand selected. Wow. So like these last 3 songs don't even have the artist. Probably because they didn't want to be credited. But good songs though. Good music. Okay, we should be getting more warnings. So we got the one from the source generator, and now the account service, non-nullable my collection should be initialized. Are we even using this? Is this one of those sample code things that we forgot to remove? There we go. It's gone. No more of that. So then the rest of this, nope. Everything from here down looks to be missing XML comments. So we'll just keep working through the ones that are not missing XML comments, and then we'll go and write some documentation. Okay, so iLogger factory we aren't using. Okay. Another sample that we ended up not using. Pin. And actually, you know what? I think we're at a point where we can get rid of this bottom half. So this is usually where I have C# code, and then I usually have Razor up here. So this is C# and Sass. This is Razor, and I don't know what else I normally put on the top half of my screen. I currently don't have my work product split into 2. Okay. Possible dereference of null. And then I think what we did for the other one of these was we just told it to not emit this warning. It's going to be hard to find though. Doesn't matter. We're just going to tell it to suppress. Suppress. In source, please. So the reason that we're getting that once again is because my payment navigation property is nullable, which means that not every transaction has to have a payment, because it could be one of a payment, deposit, or transfer. And so if payment is null, then it can't go and get payment details from a null payment. However, Entity Framework is smart enough to know that if there is no payment, don't try to get the related payment details, because there is no related payment details. Thank you, designers and developers of Entity Framework. You have made working with databases in C# so easy. So easy. I was looking over here for a reason. For a reason. Cute. Okay. So that's good. Dereference of possible null. Yet again, same issue. we're going to ignore source. Cool. The reference of possible null happened multiple times in this file, so we just took care of all of them at once. All right, unreachable code. Wait a minute. This looks important. Apparently I was throwing an exception just to show what happens when you throw an exception, and then maybe we were talking about rethrowing exceptions or handling multiple cases. I don't really remember, but apparently I left that code in. So that's bad. We're gonna have to look for those. As I mentioned before, one of the issues with streaming and working on a side project, not necessarily a work product, is that you kind of just throw code in there when you're having conversation, and maybe you forget to clean it up. Like the Thindle source generator is honestly there for a reason. It was so that I can generate all of the icon enums. Anytime that I created a new icon, I just use an attribute. However, what am I looking for? Why am I down here? Output. However, I haven't ended up using it. Same issue here. When did I build? Habit. Okay, here is a real possible null reference exception. So our lookup list is potentially null in our lookup service. So we really do need to do a null check on this. So if, actually, let's do it like this. Task dot from result, and then we'll do IEnumerable empty. Actually, yeah, you're supposed to be a list. So IEnumerable dot empty, or should I use list dot empty so that it can actually work correctly? Anyway, IEnumerable dot empty of T lookup item view model. Is that actually going to work? I don't think that's going to work for me. Yeah, I think maybe we're just going to have to do it as a new. Blech. Can I do it as null so I don't have to allocate anything? It's going to complain that it doesn't know the type of null. So can I do null or default of list of this? One, two, and then the whole thing. Okay. Nullability of reference types in value does not match target. No. You know what? Now I really want to find what the right answer is for this. I think the best way would just be to nix the await and stop trying to make it a task. The Duca naming is obviously important. Yes, yes it is. So if lookup list is null, then return just null, else return await. And then we can get rid of these extra parents. Get rid of the question mark. And it still doesn't like this. Oh, because at this point we don't need a null check. Nah. Okay. So then here we'll do our null check on ordered. We don't do anything. There are no items to be reordered. And we're good to go. That's all set. Let's do another full rebuild. See if there are any other non-XML warnings. Oh, that's the stuff. Non-nullable and XML, and then whatever this one is. Cool. Okay, so question content here is non-nullable. Editor required. So that's interesting. Editor required does not give us the fix for non-nullable. So we have to declare as both editor required and allow null. This way, we won't get the nullability issue, but we will also let the user know that, not the user, but the developer know when they use this templated question that this parameter is required. And so if it's not specified, then they will get a green squiggly as well. So those are all, the rest of these green squigglies are XML comment stuff. So let's, oh yes, okay. We're going to do this the right way. Now that we can. Yeah, okay. So what this is saying is when you use parameters on Blazor components, they should be auto properties. And this one is obviously not an auto property. So instead what we want to do is have some kind of after this property changes event. And so to do that, we will have a private I want it to be a task because we're gonna do some invoke async stuff. Handle show change ed. And I don't already have a, I do already have a handle show change ed. No, I don't. Okay, so that's just telling me we don't return on all paths. So for now, return task, completed task, completed task. We still have our previous show. And what we're going to do is use the same code, except in, instead of value, we're going to use the current value of capital show. We're going to return task compelled to task here, return task compelled to task at the bottom. Then we can change this to an auto property like so. And finally, in the usage, we can use @bind show. And this, I think this was new in .NET 6, if I recall correctly, but now we have this after event. Handle show changed. And so now what's going to happen is we're still using two-way binding for show, but after the show binding happens, then we're going to do this handle show changed. Is there anywhere in code where I am manually setting show? Here, I don't think that this will trigger the @bind show after. I think it only happens when the templated question dialog changes show. But I'm not sure about that. I want to find out. Show changes. Okay, so let's find out really quick, and we're going to do this by figuring out which component we're in. Something about account dialog. All right, so if we're going to add an account, and then we're going to dismiss it by using the X button, then show will change by using the X on the top right. Also by clicking cancel, show will change. And then the other one will be when we click OK, when we actually hit the confirm button. Whoa, that's everybody. Little, not much though, just only a little. Okay, go back to that. Go back to you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you. Add account. Add account is this little wafer. So when we hit cancel, actually we should have seen show changed. We should have seen show changed once when we first open the component. I don't think it's going to matter too much because... Nope, it is going to matter. Because show, when we push cancel, will get set to false, and then pre-show will be the same. So maybe on initialize. Detected, override, void on initialized. Show, oops, pre-show is going to get initialized to the current value of show. All right, refresh. Oh, I guess I should have waited for code changes. Ops. That's fine. It'll refresh itself. And it did. And I'm asleep. Whoosh. I got nothing. But that's fine. That I didn't actually tell it to do show changed or anything like that. So I think we'll be fine. Cancel, show changed, good. That means that pre-show was not false when I hit the cancel button to change show to false. Good, and then change it again. Yeah, so I must have this dialog component wrapped in an if statement so that it disposes every single time that we close it, that we cancel. And that means that it will do uninitialized every single time that we re-show it. So now when we add a new one, it's going to do this show equals. And this is where I don't think it is going to call show changed. Even though the two-way binding value of show is going to update templated question dialog. Again, I really think, and this is just me guessing, that the after event only happens when the underlying component changes the value of my whatever variable I'm feeding into it. So let's find out. Who doesn't have an account yet? Who have I not opened an account with yet? Let's see. Captain Commerce. All right, this is going to be the Captain Commerce Hedge Fund. I don't even know what hedge funds are, nor do I really care. Another account type. But apparently we're going to Captain Commerce to maybe help us fund our new calculator idea or something. I don't know. I have no idea. We are opening this today. Today's the 18th though. So we're opening it yesterday with the starting balance of empty. Okay, so here we go. When I click on add, we're hoping to see show changed. Do we get show changed? We do. I am surprised. All right then. So we can leave the code as is, and we're done. Oh, except that show didn't actually change just then. Okay, I don't know if you saw what just happened, but after... Dang, that really sucks. We're gonna have to create a new account too. Okay, after I did the proof that show changed happened from setting show equals false here, we got show changed, but it's possible that the value of show didn't actually change. Oh man, these songs, man, they're so good. I just want to stop talking and listen to them. Anyway. What was that? Is that? Let me make sure I don't have any random meetings scheduled. Oh yeah. No, not that one. Okay, that's fine. I don't need to go to that one. I do need to go to that one. I need to end at 12:30. Or, sorry, before 12:30 because I have a meeting immediately after. But I kind of remember needing to schedule or needing to accept a meeting that started at 30 minutes before I normally end the stream, but that's not today, nor Friday, nor this week. Good. Okay, so we're fine. I just need to make sure to stop on time. We're a little bit early today. And apparently the buzzing on my work phone was just an email that was coming in. Nothing important. Okay, that had me freaking out for a second. It's weird being back. And when I say back, I mean like I've been at this desk all of the work days for the past 2 weeks. It's just I had been on Sagetti time exclusively as opposed to client time since we weren't allowed to bill the client for the last 2 weeks. But I was doing Sagetti related tasks and training and work and stuff. So now being back with the client is like, how do I do this again? When should I freak out over my phone buzzing and when shouldn't I? And the answer is always, because notifications are stressful. All right, so here's the thing that actually just happened. And I'm kind of curious to know whether it happens with the cancel button too. So I'm pushing cancel. We're getting the show changed false. Oh no. So we aren't initially setting show to true here. I mean pre-show to true. And I said I wasn't going to be changing functionality. Console.log. What is this, JavaScript? How dare. Okay, so when I show... Wait, what? Now I'm really confused. Are you not actually getting rid of the show, the add account dialog? Main content, data entry page, data entry section. Yeah, so none of these are a dialog wrapper. And then if I push the button, then we see the dialog wrapper show up. So yeah, it definitely needs to be hitting the on initialized. Did hot reload really not take effect? Where's my... Hot reload didn't take effect. I'm so sad about that, man. It was working so consistently. Unless, are you a... No. I thought this was an implementation of a base class, and I had the uninitialized in the base class. Or uninitialized async, I should say. Because when you have both, I think only the uninitialized async runs. I can't remember correctly, though. My memory is not that great. Okay, brief show set to false. How? If you, oh, duh. I'm only telling it not to render the dialogue if show is false, but the actual add account component is there. Even though there's no markup in our this thing. What is this called? In our DOM. It's still there. And it has done the uninitialize. And what it's telling us is it initially got set to false. So when I am pushing this button to show it and changing show to true, it's not doing show changed. It's not doing show changed. And why not? The which thing didn't you know, Dixoff? The thing about the component still doing its uninitialize even if there's no rendered content? Yeah, so as long as we're gonna go find out where this thing is first of all. Data entry maybe. Payment entry maybe. Main layout. Dang it. Where is my add account dialog? Oops. Payment entry. I'm just blind. Okay, so as long as the component is not hidden behind a control flow like an if statement, so if I did add at if show account, then do this. Yeah, so even though I'm telling it to not render any of the HTML, as long as it is not being blocked, is there a better way to word this? As long as the component itself is being displayed or being, I don't know, because it's not, I can't use the word rendered because we aren't rendering anything. If we continue into templated question dialog, templated modal, we will see that the HTML content is the only thing that is not being rendered, but the actual components themselves are being instantiated. That's a good word. So then here, we're not instantiating a new add account dialog unless show add account is true. There we go. Oh, and you probably got it like 20 minutes ago, but yeah. Actually, you know what? Maybe this, but I don't want this to be the fix because I want a, I want an approach to this that will work without me needing to wrap a component that's already going to not render its HTML if the show value is false, and not have to wrap it inside of an if in order for that to work. And so the approach should be oh, so the only time this colon after is going to happen, as I mentioned before, is if the value of show changes as a result of templated question dialog changing the value of show, which again is specifically in this show changed method. So that means that the parent of this thing, which at the moment is this payment entry form, if this changes the value of show, that's not going to matter because that's not changing the under. It's going top down instead of bottom up, you know? It's trickling down. Words are escaping me. So what I need is a more reliable way to change the value of prev show, or to do this overall functionality. And the best way for me to do that, hello Bob Ross, it has been a long time. How have you been? What have you been up to? If you feel like typing, again, you could just be showing up to say hi and lurk, or just to say hi. I don't want to force you to have to say anything if you don't feel like it, but definitely good to see you. We're gonna do this in on parameter set async. And we're just going to use the same if not show. We aren't going to do all of this stuff. It's really simply going to be if show is not equal to prev show, then we're going to handle show changed. And we'll go ahead and do this first. We'll run the base. Because base is the future. And Good VJ is here. Hello, Good VJ. How are your studies? How's life? Bob Ross is currently working on a website. Do you have a link or a repo or anything that you want to share? I'm working on a website too. All right, so this should actually do it. This should do it. Do we need to rebuild? We do. I'm doing fantastically. No link yet, barely anything. Yeah, all that I have is my logo, a little blurb that says this is a placeholder site essentially, and then my social links that I don't really use any of, except for Twitch and YouTube, I guess, but not really. I don't know. It doesn't really count, does it? Goku Jax is here too. Hello, Goku Jax. But it's React and React router front end with Rust Rocket backend. That sounds awesome. I'm so it's so awesome to hear that you're just diving into all of these different technologies. It's really, really cool and super exciting. All right, we're testing this. That's what we're doing. So this is going to be for, actually, we just need to make sure. There we go. So show change true. No, really, it changed, which means that we actually did make it through this. And then if I cancel, show change false. No, really, it changed, which means that we made it through the previous check. Show again, same thing, good. And now when we actually add an account, such as in the Bob Ross College savings, I don't even know if you're going to university, and don't let me force you to or anything. You can use this money for anything you want education-wise. It doesn't have to be university. Here, how about this? Bob Ross Education Savings. And we'll open it today. And live coding is here. Hello, Peter. Back to work with headphones on lurk. Thank you so much for your lurk. And there's a shout out. If you aren't following Peter, who streams once in a millennia, definitely feel free to give him a follow. All right, I don't have headphones on yet. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. All right, so supposedly we really did have our prev show changed. So here's the thing that happened last time. I control seed and stop the app from running, which really what that did is it triggered a re-render. So that should be the same as if I did a hot reload. So let's say we actually get rid of these messages. Or if I switch tabs. Good. Not good, because when I switch tabs, we're still destroying and recreating the add account dialog. One more account? Who else wants an account? Good VJ. Retirement fund. So I know that you're just finishing up, not finishing up, you're doing all of your post-grad stuff, but we're gonna go ahead and start thinking about your retirement already. Apparently we can only choose cash for this type of account. What? That might be a bug. Nice. And we'll go ahead and put one monetary unit in there. However, the starting balance deposit reason was not found in the lookup list. I knew this was going to be an issue. Wait, actually, this has to be something else. So we can already see that our account type doesn't have all of our values, which means that the deposit reasons might not also have all of the values. We'll have to circle back to that. It still created your account, but we couldn't put an initial deposit in it. So we'd have to manually add an initial deposit. So let's go ahead and do that now. Oh, dang it. And I was supposed to be testing other stuff from that. Yeah, okay. 18, 20, 23. To account Good VJ's retirement fund. And oh, I don't have an initial deposit anymore because pirates. There. Okay, so now you have pending one monetary unit. We'll post it today. And there you go. We'll see that grow over the next 50 years, 40 years. Yar. And there is a nice little, it's not really a shout out. It is an infomercial about Rise of Piracy. Check it out on Steam, wishlist it. Use the link. When you go to the link, it'll open up on the Steam page, which no one has ever logged into according to Irish John Games. So you use this button here to open it in Steam, where you most likely are logged in. When you're in Steam, click on Add to your wishlist if it's not already in your wishlist. The end. Find out more about the game there. All right, we were supposed to... What is up with my... That was a really weird bug where we didn't have all of our account type items. That is very odd. Okay, we need one more account so that we can test to make sure that the re-render. And actually, the thing that I'm going to do is put a re-render button on the page. This is the payment entry. Do a re-render. Okay, so we have a re-render button now. So that means when we put in our new account, which is going to be for GokuJax game budget, which is going to be chat at charge. And I hate to tell you, GokuJax, but I already used the chat at charge. Hello, Napalm. So there's already a balance of like 800. If you can just take care of that for me, it'd be great. All right. So anyway, we did add supposedly our add account dialog. Exit discussion in the bag. I am gainfully unemployed for 2-ish weeks. The add account dialog should not show anymore. And the answer is it doesn't. Good. So we are truly set to false. No add account dialog until we push the button again. It kind of sounds like we need a napalm unemployment. I'm trying not to use the word fund all the time, but it's a good word. No, there it is again. Why? So I think we can record the steps being we added an account and then we clicked on add account again. And that's when we aren't getting all of the account types, but let's say we switch tabs and come back. Nope, we still don't get them back. So it might specifically be when we add a new account, our account types are somehow getting cleaned out. Any lookups? Line item, no, those are line item types. Account types. How interesting. Maybe after we finish the add account process and we're updating our account summary, I'm doing something to clear out the account types on accident. Like for any accounts, like if I'm doing refresh account summary for any account that doesn't exist in my list of account types, or for any account type that doesn't exist in my new list of accounts, remove them from the list. So that's my guess. I'm accidentally using account type when I should be using account. But anyway, point is, the thing that we're looking at is when we create a new account, our account type list goes away. So instead of trying to fix that now, I am going to create a bug for it. A what? A bug. B, some more letters. Because that's what you should do. New issue? Okay, got it. Go. And the issue is account types disappear after creating a new account. Steps to reproduce. 1. Navigate to payment entry page. 2. Click add account button. 3. Complete the add account form. 4. Submit. 5. Open the add account dialog. And then, 6. Expand account type. Expected. All account types are populated in the dropdown. Actual. Only cash shows in the dropdown. All right. Project. Runway. Label. Bug. Good first issue. Help wanted. I mean, I'll probably end up doing it, but if any of you feel like doing it, the repo is now open for business. Hello, Freedom Dow. What kind of apps do you mean, Peter? Oh, there's a lot of conversation going on. We'll read those conversations soon-ish. But for now, the thing that I'm really caring about is when we built, what are our other warnings? Because we're taking the time to clean up all of the warning messages in our build, just to make it cleaner and easier to read as we continue doing more development work on it. Okay, so the conversation started when Napalm came in and said, "Sup, mis amigos." Exit discussion in the bag. I am gainfully unemployed for 2-ish weeks while he transitions. Peter said to Napalm, "I lurk in C# Fritz's channel and see you have submitted a bunch of PRs to him and he merges them." And Napalm is like, yep, he does, and I have. Peter said, "Wow, so you're living the freest life, which is great until you run out of cash. At least, you know." Well, so I'm assuming, yeah, that your paychecks are lagged, which you are saying. So normally, but then again, your first paycheck for your new company may also be lagged by a week or by one pay period or two, depending on the company, of course. But he says, "I do have 2 paychecks coming and a job on 11/6 I'm starting." Peter said, "Oh, well, so be it." Then Napalm said, "As I mentioned yesterday, I am a principal cloud engineer for one of the largest medical device companies in the US, starting on 11/6. And Peter said, "Azure? Question mark. I have a real question for fellow Azure people. What do you think is the best place to deploy apps in 2023? Blanket advice, please." And then to Napalm, he said, "My answer is app services or Azure container apps or Azure functions, but I hate Azure functions." My guess, like without knowing too much about it, depending on how complex your app is, app services is probably the first go-to, at least for me, because it's what I would be most familiar with. Like, again, I have no experience with Azure apps, but it makes more sense to me because I've never used containers before. But if you need that kind of availability, distributed app type of thing, then container apps, and then lastly, Azure functions. But you know me, I'm currently using AWS for all of my stuff, all of my hosting. And so my answer to that is use Elastic Beanstalk or whatever the other one, the one that is comparable to container apps. And then I guess the equivalent to Azure Functions is Lambda. Tukasoff says, "On your laptop, on your local laptop, obviously." So Napalm said, "Primarily Azure, yes," which is something I still have a lot of opportunity to learn further since most of my skills are AWS historically, mine too. Some AWS still, and C# Mediator is the new stack, I hear. I've heard that as well. Functions, then Azure apps, Azure Container Apps, I believe. Oh, functions with Azure Container Apps, I assume. So functions for all of your shared code, and then Azure Container Apps for your containerized application. Live coding error. Peter said, "I have a vendetta against Azure Functions, and it is hatred in my heart, and I have to deal with it." And then Freedom Dow said, "What kind of apps do you mean?" And Napalm said to Peter, "Functions are fun, mine is cold start. So let's fix that." Microsoft says, "With complexity that really hurts your brain with ahead of time." Yeah. And Peter said to Freedom, "Vanilla business apps, line of business." Yeah, again, for me, with all of the line of business apps that I've worked on, they've really just been, well, again, it's a small work group, I guess, a small number of users in the tens. And so I am using a full EC2 instance with IIS installed on it, and a couple other instances, one for the different environments, along with the database as well. Okay, so then Napalm said to Peter, hoping to talk to my new employer about X eventually. Kubernetes service. Yeah. And Freedom said, if your deploy mode right now for LLM, are we now talking like LLM? The only thing I can think of that means is large language models. The only option is Bedrock or OpenAI. Oh, it probably is. So you can either do those or you can do OVH for a low price. I don't know what those are. For non-LLM, my first price is OVH, second is GCP, third is AWS. Okay, so I don't know what OVH is. I know what GCP is, Google Cloud, and I know what AWS is. Yeah, and then fourth is self-hosted Colo at FTC server. Man, you guys talking this server lingo. I got nothing. Napalm said, or Peter said to Napalm, we're doing great in Axe. I don't know how do other people pronounce it? Do you guys pronounce it Axe? Or do you actually just say Kubernetes service? Oh, you pronounce it AKS. just say AKS. Got it. Thank you, Napalm. Eddie Key, I didn't finish reading the statement. Anyway, we're doing great in AKS, but my main argument against AKS is that Azure Container Apps will probably do everything you need and you manage less of it, like how you don't manage Azure Functions. And then GoodVJ said, how do you keep session login data in your app's local storage, session storage, or cookies? Right now, the apps that I have built and worked on all used Duende Identity Server, whatever came with the Blazor template. But essentially, it's for the WebAssembly, it's using a combination of cookies and local storage. I don't have authentication in this app, so I can't show you that for this one. And then Freedom said to GoodVJ, we use blockchain and IPFS, no cookies. Then Peter said to Freedom, I think the savings for co-located servers are so incredible. However, I think you have to be a certain size. And then Freedom responded, it depends on the application totally. Say the business needs a chatbot for their Slack only. Like, I think I may have missed the part where Peter was specifically talking about hosting AI models or doing AI related things. He just kind of said line of business apps, from what I remember. So I'm kind of confused a little bit. Anyway, so say the business needs a chatbot for their Slack only. I use OVH. If you're gonna have Sense VPS only, then use async custom design bot for them. Very good Python. And then Napalm said in response to Peter's comment way up here about AKS, you're right. However, at least with the AWS equivalent, ECS, the tooling options lack compared to Kubernetes. No one builds tools around Azure AWS native orchestrator, excuse me. I'm just reading these comments because I'm not really able to follow or contribute. Freedom said, I'll use the vector storage at Weaviate or Pinecone. I've heard of Pinecone. and then MongoDB hosted at Google Cloud or at OVH or somewhere else. And then Freedom continued, for us, we believe 5/9 of business requests will be Gen AI in 4 to 5 years. So we're doing 20% per year, 20% of our time, per year. And then Peter said, neat, all. AKS agreed. And then A, hand heart emoji, K, hand heart emoji, S. That's too hard to say. Anyway, Napalm said to Peter, would you agree, though, the vendor tooling out there is largely for Kubernetes, period, not for these abstractions by cloud? Then Peter responded, I think yes. And yeah, we have had a few vendors that said, here's some Kubernetes YAML you apply to install our product. But I'm hoping I don't need those vendors if I'm on Azure Container Apps. Dukesoft said, would be nice to get rid of Duende, waiting for .NET 8. I'm really interested. Like, what I should do, and what I think we're gonna do, now that I'm about to say it, I'm realizing this is what we should just go ahead and do, is since I already have Visual Studio Preview installed, I could create a new Blazor web app template, or Blazor web app, add the individual accounts, and then figure out how to put that into this app specifically. And that way I can just go ahead and start replacing all of my Duende identity server authentication stuff with whatever the new approach is. Napalm says, yeah, hard to predict the future, but I like the flexibility to use things like Helm, CD, Kubernetes, etc., etc. And then Peter said to Peter said to Napalm, honestly, we don't use Azure Container Apps, and I just want to try it to see, because depending on how good it is, it will either be magic fairy dust or it will be vendetta worthy like Azure Functions are for me. Also, I'm told Azure Functions got better in v4. Napalm said, I will be happy to let you know what I find out /learn. And Napalm said, sorry, we should probably take, no, this is absolutely fine. This is good content as well, because if people watch this in the future on YouTube's or the VODs, they might have something to contribute to this conversation as well. And of course, if you do, you can post in comments, or if you want to join our Discord, you can go there and have a conversation with Peter or Napalm, or if Freedom is in there. Are you going to use Playwright in your finance tracker? That would be awesome. I would love to, but not so that I can scrape bank data. No. But it would be nice to use to set up Playwright so that I can do some integration testing. Integration testing, functionality testing, one of them, end to end. But no, I don't plan on doing anything that has anything to do with, I don't know, the funny things that you can do as a developer, because it's cool. I'm not into that. Totally safe bank automation. Dukesoft is booking time in the calendar for the Finan Man update. Should be today. But yeah, I'd love to have these tools. Me too. Wait, what? So I don't know. Now I need to reprioritize. New issue. Implement. What is it called? Identity? Yeah, identity. Auth and off. This is a task. This is not a good first issue. I would like to do it on my own. Forgot to assign a project. I'm gonna go ahead and assign myself now. Oops, I just tried to save. That's not how that works. And Freedom says, I build a lot of scrapers. I don't know, I'd like a finance scraper, scrape my finance situations automatically. Tell, whoa buddy, you doing some stupid things. So that doesn't sound like it needs a scraper to me. There are services out there like Plaid that allow you to connect to financial institutions from your app, and it'll download all of your transactions, and then you can have some AI custom code, or you can find a library that does it for you, that looks at your behavior, looks at your financial patterns, and says, here's what you're doing bad, here's what you're doing good. Or you can use an app that already exists for doing this exact thing. So like my new main financial institution has a part of their app that I've already set up all of my accounts to show in, and it even has a budget tracker, and it has all of the things you could want from a normal financial tracking app. But again, this app is specifically for manually tracking your financial transactions. So you manually entering, this is the date that I purchased from this specific place, and I spent this amount of money, and then I submit, and then I balance my I reconcile my balances, my transactions and balances, with the official record, being the financial institution themselves. And what that does is it makes me more aware of where am I spending money, what am I doing with my money, what could I do differently, as opposed to just going to a site that downloaded all my transactions and says you're over budget, and I'm like, okay, because I don't really feel the effect of that as much as I do if I manually enter the transactions myself, which you can do in these other apps as well, but I already have all of my data stored in a database in Microsoft Access. Actually, it's the database is SQL Server, but I'm using Microsoft Access to manage it. I want my AI to tell me how much allowance I have. That's the killer feature. Definitely doable. We might look into doing that. That could be a thing. I've thought often about automating this with Azure Computer Vision stuff. Oh, speaking of finances, am I the only crazy bastard that takes his receipts from credit card and reconciles against statement each month to verify no wrong charges or missing stuff? There are, I should say. I was going to say there is an app, but there are many apps that will scan your receipt and turn it into a transaction line item type thing for you. I'm pretty sure Intuit does that. The accounting software that I use also does that. You can take pictures of receipts and it'll you tell it which account to charge it to. I'll just do that. But Freedom is saying it's because I mess up so bad. No, I don't do that. I was charged wrongly by Amazon recently, actually 2 months ago. They activated Prime without my permission. They charged $8 on me incorrectly, wrongly. I was going to check this out. Yeah, I mean, again, there are probably hundreds, I would say hundreds of repos, even open source repos that will take a picture of a receipt and I'll turn it into Excel data, CSV. But where is the fun in that? There, up to you. How much fun do you want it to be? Which parts of it do you count as fun? But yeah. use it to do the invoice, etc. Exactly, yeah. Check my statements and keep my records. Now it's hard when you get that. Yeah, so I don't actually check the statements. I just go to the site and see the transaction list. So I have two financial institution sites that I go to check my account informations. But I mean, if that is what you enjoy spending your time on, then it's not really time and effort consideration. It's still some kind of satisfaction that you get out of it. Even if it's just to say, I did this kind of thing. All right. So I'm going to figure out if there were any other warnings real quick. I don't think there are. And as I continue reading through chat, I'm just going to have Copilot chat make a whole bunch of XML comments for me. Or maybe just Copilot in general. Dude, didn't I do this? Thank you. You're not gonna do this for me. Okay, so child content is the content to display in the card. Additional CSS classes to be applied to the card. Additional attributes applied to the card. Thank you. Done. Next. I'm so cheap. All right, and this does add JavaScript modules to the service collection. JavaScript interop modules. Isolated JavaScript modules. The services collection to add the modules to. See, time and effort. This is what I find fun. Awesome. Thank you so much for the follow, Shakes. And welcome in. This is the first time that I'm seeing your name, but you don't have to say anything. You're definitely welcome to just lurk, or if you feel like being active, you're welcome to. We are currently working on doing some code cleanup for the financial management tracker application that we've been working on during the stream. If you're interested in checking out any of the previous streams, I've posted them all to my YouTubes, and yeah, you can see them from the start, from the beginning of the project. Supposedly there are 186 episodes. It did not take us 186 days to do this. We spend about, to be honest, it's about 30 to 60% of the stream just talking, and then the rest of the time coding. So it's kind of hard to, pick through the actual VODs. So another thing that would be cool to make is a bot that can actually watch YouTube videos and pick out the parts of the video that are actually coding related, and then just create a whole bunch of other videos that are from the extracted timestamps. That would be nice. Content to display in the flyout. Whether or not the flyout should be shown. The event. Callback for when the show property changes. And then this is actually supposed to be inherited? No. Okay. Whether or the method indicating whether or not the flyout can be closed. Yes. All right. So Snakes, are you using straight Blazor for this project, or are you using framework like Radzin or Syncfusion? Good question. So typically, when I started using Blazor in 2018 or so, I tried using other Blazor component libraries because I found it very confusing, and it was a different way of thinking than creating an MVC app or Razor Pages app, which is what I was most comfortable with doing. And so I'm like, I don't even know how to make my own component. Of course, when I was first starting out. So I was using third-party component libraries, and I found them really difficult to work with. Mostly because, again, I was still inexperienced and I just couldn't figure out how to customize them to the degree that I wanted to customize them. So I learned how to make my own components and make them easily customizable. And so I've been using my own component library since 1812. So I guess the short answer is I am not using any third-party component libraries at the moment. I'm not against it. I've just gotten so used to writing my own components as needed or making a reusable component library, which is another project we're going to do on this stream, by the way. This is just a rough draft version of a component library, but I will definitely pick this apart and put it together in a very clean, reusable way and make it highly customizable as well. So yes, short answer is my own components from scratch or from previous earnings. All right, Freedom said, say the finance system can simulate future bank account value depending upon those values from Airbnb. Then I can calculate my own spending from that versus a standard budget that may be over budget if factors changed. So I have something that's kind of like that. Oh, you're definitely welcome to. This project specifically is located here. What does the project look like right now? So the project is for the most part done. Functionality wise, what we're currently doing, as I mentioned before, is just cleaning up all of the compiler warnings just because I don't want to see them anymore. And I wanted to take a break from all of the fun that we were having with the calculator. But load. The next thing that we're going to do is an actual UI UX design, or redesign, I guess, because we did a little bit of design on Figma, which I'm not currently logged into in this browser, but I want to be. So let's go ahead and do that. Except I have no idea what I should be logged in as. Figma. What are we logged in as, please? Is this Gmail? I think we're logged in with Gmail. I can't see chat anymore. There we go. Okay. I think this is a major factor in business bankruptcy, the refactoring and planning 2 years out. Okay, what I was trying to say in response to that, Freedom, is that I have a combination of Microsoft Access that does all of the functionality that I made this app do, including showing me all of the transaction history, being able to add new payments, deposits, transfers, create new accounts, even though creating an account is just adding the account to the database table directly using hand jamming. And then entering, like I said, all of my transactions. And then on top of that, I have an Excel workbook where I have it connected to the same database as the data source, and it populates what looks like a calendar. And for every single one of my accounts, I have this kind of calendar view that shows the amount of money that I have on those days. And then if it's a date that's in the past, then it shows the actual amount that I had on that day. And if it's a date in the future, it's based off of the numbers that I have across the top of every single one of the calendars that says, here's a recurring payment that I make every month, every 2 weeks, every whatever. And so by the end of the month, or however many days in advance, I know this is what my account balance will most likely be if I continue at my consistent spending rate. So that's everything that I want to integrate into this web application. So I'm no longer using Microsoft Access and Excel. Instead, I'm using, an actual application and database. And as I keep mentioning, I know that there are apps out there like Mint, and my financial institution has one that will automatically pull your transactions and show you stuff like this. But I prefer to track my stuff manually. And I am also using those apps. Okay, so as far as what this project looks like right now, did you finish building? You finished building. So there is this landing page that we mocked up. It's really just this login form doesn't really work, but it's the thing that lets us know when the Blazor WebAssembly has finished loading, because this is static HTML until the Blazor WebAssembly finishes loading. And once it finishes loading, then it replaces the entire static HTML with the Blazor WebAssembly application, with the Blazor UI. So all I would have to do at that point is rig this up to the actual login functionality, which we will get to when .NET 8 comes out. We might do it a little bit earlier now that I've created a work item for that. I don't have an easy way to get to the data entry stuff, but the data entry stuff would only be available after login. And so this is the main UI for the login. Oh, and I was trying to get into Figma so I can show you the initial designs of it. So these were the 3 different designs that we were choosing from. This middle one is a flat design, but using this kind of bluish, kind of bland color scheme. And then this one is an amorphic design, which makes it look like, there's plastic wrap or shrink wrap or whatever it's called on everything. And then there is the design that we actually went with, which is flat, but using this darker color. I'm not a fan of it anymore. Now that we've been working in it for so long, I'm like, I don't like this really anymore. So that's why I'm like, we should redesign this. So that's going to be one of our goals, is to redesign the application to make it look better, make the landing page an actual landing page with information and links and stuff, better color choices, put the calculator button in a better place. So this calculator was a functionality that we added over many, many weeks and got working really, really nicely. So if you are not focused on the calculator, you can still type numbers and letters and stuff. But if you are focused in the calculator, then any key presses will be routed to the calculator itself, kind of thing. Do I not have a clear button? Dang it. So maybe it doesn't have one-to-one parity with my Access app. Yeah, Figma. And I think you're the one that introduced me to Figma, by the way, Baba Russell. Now I really, really, really super duper enjoy Figma, especially for UI design. But yeah, so all of the forms are essentially the same. Some kind of date entry field, either account or payee, and then some extra fields that just indicate money amounts that are being moved. The list management allows you to add and maintain, I should say, the drop-down list values. I didn't actually put anything on, like any good design or anything like that, on the implementation of this. So you'll notice here that I had this kind of card look to the account overview, but when I got to the point where we were going to style this, I'm like, I'm just not liking the overall look and feel of this. So we're going to redesign it anyway. I'm not going to put too much effort into cleaning up the UI because we will. But for now, let's just get rid of the remaining. We need to add XML comments, which I think this is one of them. Yeah. Wait, missing XML comment for publicly visible type or member. Oh, on parameter set async. Can I just do inherit doc? Ooh, all right then. And again, if you're enjoying this music, it is from an app called Slipstream. And the most prominent artist that you will find on my current playlist is Purple Cat, because they got some really, really good music. Okay, can close. See, and that's what I thought. So there's this flyout base component. Why is my flyout? Yeah, my flyout is not actually using flyout content base. That's why. No, this is not the content that can be displayed. This is the method indicating whether or not the flyout can be closed. That's not a method. Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Gosh. The base class for flyout content. The parent flyout component. And we may as well make this a C flyout. True if the flyout can be closed, false otherwise. I like it better on multiple lines. Yes, we want this one to be inherit doc. And we also want this one to be inherit doc because this is the implementation of idisposable.dispose, which has documentation. Good. As it should. As it should. And that should be everything for this file. My icons. Hello, icon. That's weird that it didn't have it on the class. Interesting. Hey, that's a cool comment. I like that. Thank you, Copilot. The icon name, which is C icon name. You used iMemory cache or iDistributed cache for memory caching before? No, I have not. I have not done that, but has anyone else who is feeling like chatting and answering used iMemory cache or iDistributed cache before? It's a private. Fine. Tag. Got a lot of cleanup. Had I just been doing this while we were going along. You know, I don't think that I had Copilot when we started this project. Could be lying, but I don't remember having Copilot, so I wouldn't have thought to do this. And then we'll add some remarks. This should not coincide. the how do I word this? The thing that I'm trying to say is that the icon type should be a Blazor component. Blazor components in the icons folder. Something like that. Or I guess more importantly, it's not the icons folder, it is the icon components .icon namespace. All right. What do you want? Specify usage. Right. So this attribute goes on members, which is fields. Yeah, so enum members, I think, are still treated like fields. And let's just double check that I didn't break anything by doing that. I did not. Good. All right, I have a feeling that's where we're going next anyway. Nope, it's taking us to the isolated JavaScript stuff. Oh wait, nope, it is. Okay, the icon name. So named icons used within the, sure, used within the application. I was gonna say used with the icon component, but whatever, why not? The add icon. The checkmark icon. The trash can. How did you? It's like, I know what these are, but what WTF is a trash can? Oh, it must mean clothes. This is not an attribute. Oh my goodness, what are you doing? Did you lose the context? Extensions for the icon class. Icon name enum. So is this really only for the icon names? I think it is. I'm gonna go ahead and rename this. Add some markup. Are you going to know from context that this icon type is specifically the one from the icons folder? Are you gonna remember that I typed that for the previous one? You aren't remembering that I am using the actual type. Thank you. That time you did. Remarks? No? The icon type is? Well, I mean, yes, but that's from the method signature. We don't need that information. The information that we need is the icon type will to be the icon type returned will be one of the Blazor component types in this namespace. Oh my gosh. Can't button. I've forgotten how to button. Hey, you're starting to remember. Cool. Are you going to remember this? Yes. Good. And finally, arigato momichi. Although you don't need to do icon components namespace because we are already in that namespace. Thank you. Oh, good times. We got rid of all these, I hope. JavaScript isolation stuff, the actual interface itself. So as I can, from what it looks like, the actual code behind for Blazor components is not setting off the you don't have documentation for this warning. Interesting. A shareable modal component that will render HTML markup. I really, really like this description of it though. Whether or not the modal is shown. The event callback. Thank you. I guess you have to say it out loud in order for it to pick it up. The content to be shown. Thank you. And whether or not to show the dismiss. Oh my gosh. But all right, any other public methods? I'm going to copy this so that it's in my clipboard. Templated modos. That's weird. That one actually had green squigglies. Whether or not to show. Thank you. The event. Content to be displayed in the mobile's header. The content to be displayed in the mobile's body. Very good. Isn't this just such a fun time? I know you guys are enjoying yourselves. The thing that I'm gonna like is after doing all of this, rebuilding. Oh, we get a dad joke from that. Rebuilding and seeing 0 warnings in our output. You are not used. Interesting. How is that possible? I'm not using the if. Interesting. Or show dismiss. Actually, you know what? This is going to be another work item. I need to stop doing that. Because I'm going to get lost in that and then not get all the way through this. And I want to get all the way through this. Instead, we're going to create an issue that says it needs to be in the right repo. We're going to create an issue that says the dismiss button is not used in the templated model. Labels, bug. It should be a thing, but it's not. Projects, this one, create. Okay, we were here. Are you still going to give us... So I'm not seeing any warnings that are specific to unused methods. So I will leave that one there since we will use it. But I don't think it's going to give us any warnings in our compile output. Shareable question dialog. This is true. Are you going to know that this is the content to show in the title? Yeah, pretty much. Same thing. Yes. The text to use, the text to use for the confirm button, the text to use for the cancel button, the CSS to use for the confirm button, cancel button, whether or not the confirm button is disabled, whether or not the cancel button is disabled, whether or not the cancel button is visible, confirm button is visible, cancel button, whether or not to show the question modal, whether or not to show the dismiss button, the event for show changed, the event for click, and the event for the other click. Man, I thought it was going to go this easy. Oh yeah, I didn't even read the dad joke out loud. The dad joke is, why did the A go to the bathroom and come out as an E? Because he had a vowel movement. I would have said it's because he had to pee and then missed and then was like, E. No, that was terrible. Don't repeat what I said to anyone, ever. In fact, I will destroy this video after we're done streaming. Progress bar. This isn't really a video to post on YouTube's anyway. I'm just letting Copilot write comments for me. The current value of the progress bar. Yes. I'm glad I didn't keep the word current for these. The thickness of the progress bar fill. Something. Bob Ross is saying, do you think you could give me feedback on this logo design? Of course, absolutely. So it is a language called Demilang. Oh, I like it. So looking at it, I immediately have an I like it feeling. So is it this one? Or like, are you asking which way? Because I like this one. Well, this one reads more like it's a D. And then this one, of course, you know, looks cool. I like it a lot. Gosh. I don't really have any constructive criticism to give you on it, though. I guess this one kind of looks like a hockey team's logo. Red Wings, specifically. Oh, that's an old version. Okay. And then the only other thing is this doesn't look like a D that's supposed to be for Demilang, but at the same time, it doesn't have to be literally a D. And that's why I just like it. It looks like a logo that represents your language, Demiling. I like the colors you chose. They're not my preferred colors, but they work really well for this logo. I don't really have very much other stuff that you could use to improve or continue going in the same direction. It just looks good. I like it. And if you guys don't know, Bob Ross is the one that created the this and the this for us. Language is fast. Is too fast. Too fast to execute code inside of a loop. I say keep it. It's good. It's simple. It's not busy. It has a good color gradient. And it looks techie. You're getting really good. Oh, I didn't take it as a joke. I believed you. I was laughing because it was a funny statement about your language. Whether or not to animate the initial fill, whether or not the animation should be the time in seconds the infinite animation should take to complete. Should take between repeats. The position of the progress label. Any content that should be displayed inside of the progress bar. And additional classes to apply. Cool. And this is public too. Interesting. The calculated style to apply to the progress bar. Is this read only? Okay, that takes care of progress bar, progress label. Dang, we're almost done. Let's do it. So the progress label position is the position of the progress label in the progress bar. Nice. The label will not be displayed. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. The label will be displayed at the start of the progress bar. And start is a very important word if you have done any kind of web design or UI design, because in the US or any Western countries, we're used to saying left aligned, center aligned, or right aligned. But you really want it to be start based off of which direction your language, the currently displayed language actually goes. So left to right versus right to left. And this is cheating, and it feels good. It feels so good. Like, if I have my type correctly, I am a 1, which means that cheating is something that is hard for me to condone. And it feels really, really good to be able to use Copilot because it's the intended purpose. So it's not really cheating, but it feels like cheating. So I don't know. It's a weird thing. That's all. All right, so here we go. We're going to rebuild and hope that there are 0 warnings. And then we'll be done with this work item. Seriously thinking about buying the code to my worky thingy. Yeah, I would say that I've used it quite a bit. I don't know if IntelliCode whole line completions would have done this type of thing, but IntelliCode comes with Visual Studio. The thing that is different between Copilot and IntelliCode is that Copilot will do block completions. At least as of the last time that I've used IntelliCode. IntelliCode may now do block code completions. The other thing that you get with Copilot, though, is Copilot Chat, where you can say, describe or document the method handle click, and it'll read through handle click, it'll understand what it does, and then it'll write your XML documentation for it. Let's see if it's actually correct. Handles the click event and invokes the show alert function from myinterop.js. And that is absolutely true. Myinterop.js is the JavaScript file that it uses, and it invokes show alert. So yeah. I guess Copilot Chat would be the main feature to get Copilot now. And then again, whole code block completions. So like a function that calculates average quarterly sales. And there, it just did did my average quarterly sales by writing a method that takes the values for 4 quarters and then divides by 4. But still, it did it just by writing a comment. So that, like, we've maybe seen it so much that it doesn't faze us just how incredible that is, but I'm still blown away by it. All right, updated. Code to remove compiler warnings. All right, so I'm going to commit and push this. I'm also going to do a PR for it. And as I mentioned, I do need to end the stream on time. So I'm going to go ahead and start getting ready to do that. Here is my ending card. At least I can ask Bing Chat how to do stuff. Bing Chat, Bard, ChatGPT 3.5, the free one. There were 2 others that I just learned about today that I can't think of. But anyway, I really appreciate you guys being here. If you do feel like it, Friday is our community day. So we will be asking any one of you in our community to come by the stream. I will have a Discord voice channel open so that we can have a verbal discussion if you feel like it. Otherwise, I'll just be paying attention to chat, answering questions, having conversation with all of you, and just overall enjoying my time hanging out with you guys. So until the next time, though, I will be back again, like I said, on Friday. I will be posting the recording of this video no sooner than 24 hours after I end the stream. We're going to raid Bardaki. No, Bardaki. We're going to raid Bardaki. That's right. So I need to turn him up. Bardaki is a game developer. He's working on a game called War is Stupid. I always forget the name of his game. This line is not from a zoo would be our raid message if you feel like it. One day we'll come up with an actual raid message, but my nav bar is looking pretty cool. Yes. Definitely let us know when you get a demo. I would love to see what you're working on. All right, that's it for me for now. Ciao. Gonna go to my meeting.